Hello modelers, and welcome to a new painting tutorial from AK Interactive. In today's video we will be painting a Shinhoto Chi Ha, a Japanese tank from World War II. The scale of this model is 1/56, and to carry out this project we will be using the Japanese tank set from AK Interactive. In this set we can find 6 paints that will be very useful for working on any World War II Japanese tank. On the back side of the set you can find 4 different options to draw inspiration from for your projects. Moreover, to help us carry out this project, we will use this Japanese Armor in World War II book. This book includes information in both English and Spanish, and you can find detailed information about different techniques that will help you when working on Japanese vehicles from World War II. The first thing we must do when painting the vehicle is to prime it. For this we will use the basic line airbrush with a 0.3mm needle and the black primer and microfiller paint. As you can see, this primer has very good coverage. It can be applied directly from the bottle, and it's very resistant, which will help us to protect our work. After we've let the primer layer dry, we can proceed with the painting using the yellow Real Colors paint diluted with its thinner. We will create a yellow pattern around the tank's armor, which is very typical for the Japanese tanks from World War II. As you can observe, this color has great coverage, even on top of a black surface, which speaks very well of the quality of the Real Colors paints. After placing the masking tape on top of the yellow paint in a serpentine manner, it will be the time to proceed with the main color, which is 𝗧𝘆𝗽𝗲, or the color of the dry grass, and we'll apply it over the entire chassis. As you can see, there is no problem with using acrylic paint on top of lacquer paint. We only need to keep in mind the drying time of each product in order to avoid any strange and undesired effects. We've applied the camouflage putty over the vehicle, and now we can proceed with 𝗦𝗵𝗶𝗵, the green color. With this color we will paint different patches over the hull of our tank. We know that right now many of you may be wondering and have plenty of questions about this strange gelatin-like mass that is covering a part of the vehicle, so let's talk a little bit about it. This product is called Camouflage Elastic Putty. It is a black putty that, as you can see, comes in a tin, and we can shape it however we like. Not only is it very malleable, it is also reusable. We can stretch it as much as we want, and to separate a piece from the rest we only need to pull it apart. And on top of that, it adapts to any and all surfaces. So now that we know how this camouflage elastic putty works, we can continue to work on our camouflage pattern. Next we'll use the 𝗧𝘆𝗽𝗲, which is a brownish tea color. With this color, as you can observe, we paint all the parts of the tank that are not covered by the putty. After we've allowed the paint that we have applied to dry completely, we can start to remove all the putty and the tape from the vehicle. This is the moment when we can truly start to appreciate the camouflage pattern of the tank. The putty and the masking tape are a duo that will be of great help when working on our camouflages. Afterwards, we will varnish our vehicle, for which we'll use the 3rd generation acrylic matte varnish and the acrylic thinner. We'll make sure to cover the vehicle completely, because it is very important to protect the paint for the following steps. Now let's take a look at the alternative usage for the streaking grime. We are well aware that many or most of you use this product for its intended purpose, to create streaks of dirt and grime on your vehicles. But how about using it as a panel liner for our projects? As you can see, this product is completely complementary to the 4 colors we've used for the camo. So it will be the perfect choice for adding depth to all the details of the tank. After applying the product, we should wait around 10 to 15 minutes before continuing. This will give the product time to dry a little bit before starting to remove the excess of the product with white spirit. As you can see, it is very simple to remove the excess of the product. We will only need a paper towel, a synthetic brush, and of course the white spirit. And we will use these 3 products to remove the excess of the streaking grime, to leave it only where we want it to be. After we've cleaned up our tank, all the rivets and cracks on the hull of the vehicle become visible and stand out more, adding depth to the model. After we wait a little to allow the streaking grime and white spirit to dry, we will proceed to apply gloss varnish all over the surface. This step will prepare the model for the placement of the decals. If you have any doubts about how to apply decals, we recommend you to take a look at the video from the Modeling from Zero series, in which we talk about the application of decals. Specifically, it is the episode 3. After placing the decals, remember to once again apply a coat of gloss varnish. And when this coat is dry, we will apply another, but this time of matte varnish. The application of matte varnish will prevent the decals to appear too shiny once dry, avoiding the unnatural shine that can occur, making the decals look like stickers. Moreover, the varnish will prepare the surface for the oil paints that we will be using next. In this case, we've picked 3 different oil paints colors, all from 𝗵𝗫𝗏 502. We have buff, light sand, and sepia. We'll place the paint on a piece of cardboard and we'll leave it there for at least 30 minutes so that it can absorb the oil from the paint. Then we can start to use them, and so we'll start to place small dots all over the surface. The first color we've chosen to use is buff, but in reality the order of the colors is up to you. The next color we use is sepia. For some of the dots, we've mixed the color with light sand as well, just to give it a little more variety. This technique will give nuance to the colors and integrate them better together. On top of that, it will create different streaks of paint that will look like dirt, which will make the results more realistic. For the next step, we will need the odorless thinner, an angular and a flat brush, so that we can start moving the dots over the hull. First, we remove some of the moisture of the brush to make it only a little wet. And then with vertical movement, we fuse the dots of rust together. During this step, it's important that the brush strokes are always in the same direction in order to avoid any strange effects. The specific direction of the stroke will depend on where the gravity would move the dirt in reality. This way we can imitate streaks of rain, mud or grease using the oil paints. When everything is completely dry, our tank will appear to have been affected by the weather and the war. In the next step, we will use the 3rd generation black paint to paint the tracks as well as any part that will be painted metallic later on. We will use the rubber black to paint the rubber part of the wheels. After this step, our vehicle would be ready for playing, but if you want to work on it a little more, be sure to stay with us and see how we apply some weathering techniques on our model. Or a new way to paint metals without using a brush. Instead of a brush, we have this dark aluminum weathering pencil that we can use on the tracks. This will make the pigment gather on the areas that stand out more, and we can easily achieve great results for our tracks. And not only is this technique very simple, it is also very quick, so we recommend you to give it a go. Once finished, we will use the chocolate chipping color for chipping on the doors and areas that we want to appear more worn away. But don't spend too much time and effort on this, as the camouflage colors will not make it stand out as much as it normally would. A good way to make the chipping stand out more is to use a darker color, such as leather brown. You can use a mixture of both colors to give some variety to your chipping. Remember that you can use a lighter color, such as this khaki color, to imitate scratches on the paint of the tank surface. Afterwards, we'll use stirred earth for mud effects. Use an old brush to apply this texture in all those areas that could have been in contact with mud, especially the lower part of the chassis. It's important to apply this product little by little and not all at once. The reason is simple. We need to use the air from the airbrush before it dries completely. The blowing of the airbrush will spread out the texture and make the mud appear more realistic. You can repeat the process several times until you obtain the desired effect. Once dry, the texture will be set firmly on the surface of our model. Now the vehicle is completely ready to lead our army towards victory. However, the Japanese were the masters of ambush. And so, we'll use these products to create a natural disguise for our tank to hide away from the enemy patrol's view, waiting for the right moment to attack. We can first use the pliers to try out the positioning of the bushes. Once we are certain of the placement, we'll use the cyanoacrylate glue to glue the bushes permanently to our tank. And now our tank is completely finished and ready to defend the island in the name of the Emperor. We hope you like this tutorial and we'll see you in the next one.